Marcus Rodriguez had always been the odd one out at the Neurological Research Institute. While his colleagues pursued traditional paths in neuroscience, he specialized in something most considered pseudoscience: dream manipulation and consciousness transfer. His unconventional theories about shared dreaming and mental projection had earned him ridicule from peers and barely enough funding to keep his small lab operational. That changed when the alien ship crashed in Nevada. The craft, no larger than a city bus, contained 7 beings in what appeared to be a permanent state of suspended animation. Their neural activity was unlike anything human science had encountered: complex, interconnected patterns that suggested they were sharing a collective dream state. Traditional attempts to wake them had failed completely. The military, desperate for answers about potential threats or technologies, reluctantly turned to the one person who claimed expertise in dream consciousness: Marcus. Dr. Patricia Hendricks, the project's lead researcher and Marcus's former mentor, made her disdain clear from their first meeting. "This is absurd," she declared in front of the entire team. "We're dealing with advanced alien neurology, not some fantasy about entering dreams. Rodriguez's theories have never been peer-reviewed or successfully replicated." Marcus had endured years of similar dismissals, but this felt different. The stakes were higher, and Patricia seemed determined to undermine him at every turn. She assigned him the smallest office, the oldest equipment, and made sure everyone knew she considered his involvement a waste of resources. "I want detailed reports on every procedure," she told him coldly. "And when this fails, which it will, I'll make sure the committee knows exactly why we wasted taxpayer money on dream theory." Despite the hostility, Marcus threw himself into studying the aliens' neural patterns. Their brain activity showed remarkable synchronization, suggesting they weren't just dreaming individually but sharing a collective unconscious experience. His equipment, though dated, began detecting something extraordinary. The aliens' neural frequency matched theoretical patterns he'd calculated for shared consciousness states. After weeks of analysis, Marcus developed a prototype consciousness interface, a device that could theoretically allow human neural patterns to sync with the aliens' dream state. The technology was based on research he'd conducted in secret for years, using himself as a test subject to explore lucid dreaming and mental projection. Patricia laughed when he presented his findings. "You want to plug yourself into alien brains based on untested theories. This isn't science fiction, Rodriguez. You'll end up in a coma or worse." The Military Oversight Committee was skeptical but desperate. Other approaches had yielded nothing, and the aliens showed signs of declining health. Against Patricia's vociferous objections, they authorized Marcus to attempt his consciousness transfer procedure. "I'm going on record that this is dangerous and irresponsible," Patricia stated. "When something goes wrong, I won't be held responsible for approving this madness." The day of the procedure, Marcus felt a mixture of excitement and terror. His consciousness interface looked crude compared to the sleek medical equipment surrounding the alien containment units, but his calculations suggested it could work. As the team prepared the neural connections, Patricia made one final attempt to stop him. "You're risking your life for a theory that exists nowhere but in your head. No one will remember you as a hero when you're brain dead." Marcus ignored her warnings and activated the interface. The sensation was unlike anything he'd experienced. His consciousness seemed to dissolve and reform in a space that wasn't quite physical reality. He found himself standing in what appeared to be a vast, interconnected city made of living light and impossible geometries. The 7 aliens moved through this space like ghosts, their forms shifting between their physical appearance and beings of pure energy. Communicating with them required abandoning human concepts of language. Marcus projected thoughts and emotions directly, gradually understanding that they weren't trapped in the dream by choice. Their ship's crash had damaged their collective consciousness matrix, leaving them unable to wake while their physical bodies slowly deteriorated. They had been trying to repair the damage from within their shared dream space, but lacked the specific neural patterns needed to reconnect with physical reality. Human consciousness, Marcus realized, operated on frequencies that could serve as a bridge. His presence in their dream space provided the missing link they needed to wake up. Working together, they began reconstructing the damaged pathways in their collective consciousness. The process required Marcus to maintain the connection for hours, his physical body monitored by the medical team, while his mind worked alongside alien intelligences to repair their shared dreamscape. Patricia watched the monitors with growing disbelief as Marcus's neural activity synchronized perfectly with the aliens. Her skepticism began to crack when the aliens' vital signs improved and their brain patterns showed increased coherence. Still, she maintained her opposition, telling anyone who would listen that they were witnessing a dangerous fluke that could kill both Marcus and their test subjects. After what felt like days in the dream space but was only hours in real time, Marcus felt the aliens' consciousness beginning to pull away from the collective dream. One by one, they were finding their way back to their physical bodies. The youngest of them, whose thoughts felt most similar to human patterns, expressed something Marcus interpreted as gratitude mixed with amazement. They had never encountered a species capable of entering their dream space before. Marcus began his own journey back to physical consciousness, but the process was more difficult than expected. The aliens' dream space had been so compelling, so rich with impossible experiences and expanded awareness, that part of him wanted to remain. He struggled against the temptation to lose himself in their collective consciousness, using every technique he developed over years of dream research to maintain his individual identity while navigating back to his own body. The first alien opened its eyes just as Marcus's consciousness fully returned to his physical form. Within minutes, all 7 beings were awake, their large, luminous eyes focusing on the humans surrounding them. The lead alien, whose thoughts Marcus had worked with most closely in the dream space, looked directly at him with what unmistakably appeared to be recognition and respect. Patricia stood frozen as the implications hit her. Marcus had succeeded where every conventional approach had failed. The aliens were not only awake but appeared healthy and alert. Her years of dismissing his research, her public ridicule of his theories, her attempts to sabotage his involvement in the project, all of it now looked petty and foolish in the face of his unprecedented success. The military officials immediately wanted debriefings from both Marcus and the aliens. Communication proved challenging, but the beings clearly understood they owed their awakening to Marcus's intervention. They began sharing technological insights and information about their civilization, making it clear they viewed humans, specifically Marcus, as worthy of contact and exchange. Dr. Hendricks found herself marginalized as the project shifted focus to Marcus's consciousness research and its applications. The peer review she had demanded vindicated every aspect of his theoretical framework. Universities that had rejected his papers now fought to offer him positions. The same colleagues who had mocked his dream research suddenly wanted to collaborate. But Marcus's real satisfaction came from something more personal. During one of the debriefing sessions, the lead alien communicated through primitive translation, devices that their species had legends about consciousness bridges, rare individuals who could navigate between different forms of awareness. They had never encountered such a being outside their own species, and considered meeting Marcus one of the most significant moments in their recorded history. 6 months later, Marcus established the Institute for Consciousness Studies, with funding from multiple governments eager to understand the implications of his breakthrough. His research into shared dreaming and mental projection, once dismissed as fantasy, became the foundation for a new field of science. The Institute's first major project involved training other humans to enter alien dream states, creating a permanent bridge between the species. Patricia remained at the original research facility, relegated to routine neurological studies, while Marcus's work captured global attention. She never directly apologized for her treatment of him, but her attempts to associate herself with his success became increasingly desperate and transparent. The scientific community remembered her primary contribution as trying to prevent the breakthrough that changed humanity's understanding of consciousness and first contact. The aliens, now fully integrated into collaborative research efforts, insisted that Marcus be present for all major communications with their civilization. They had shared with him experiences and knowledge that existed nowhere in human understanding, making him not just the person who woke them, but humanity's first true ambassador to alien consciousness. In quiet moments, Marcus sometimes returned to the consciousness interface, not to enter alien dreams, but to explore the expanded awareness the experience had given him. He had touched something vast and interconnected, a glimpse of what consciousness could become when freed from the limitations of single minds. The aliens had taught him that awareness itself was humanity's greatest tool for exploration, more powerful than any technology they might build. The boy who had been mocked for believing in dream science had become the man who proved that consciousness was the ultimate frontier. Patricia and his other critics had unwittingly pushed him toward the discovery that would define humanity's future, their skepticism serving as the resistance he needed to develop unshakable confidence in his revolutionary ideas. Standing in his new laboratory, surrounded by equipment designed to explore the deepest mysteries of awareness and consciousness, Marcus often thought about the aliens still working alongside human researchers. They had shown him that the boundaries between minds were more fluid than anyone imagined, and that sometimes the most profound truths were found not in the waking world, but in the spaces where consciousness itself could dream. The dream world that had trapped 7 alien beings had become the gateway to humanity's greatest adventure. And Marcus Rodriguez, the researcher nobody believed in, had become the key that unlocked not just their prison, but the door to an entirely new understanding of what it meant to be conscious, aware, and connected across the vast reaches of space and mind.